Good evening, and welcome to tonight's presentation, From the Quarries, an archive of Masonic lore. The True Masonic Student by Brother A.T. Hinchcliffe, first presented at the Toowoomba Lodge of Instruction on the 2nd of September 1954. Masonic study can be an almost frightening prospect, but it can also be very interesting. It depends on the point of view. After his initiation, a candidate for Freemasonry is charged by the Master of the Lodge or by the Senior Warden in these words: "Especially would I urge you to devote a portion of your leisure hours to a study of such of the liberal arts and sciences as may be within the compass of your attainments, and, without neglecting the ordinary duties of your station, feel yourself called upon to make a daily advancement in Freemasonry." Then, after passing to the second degree, he is enjoined as follows: "The study of the liberal arts is earnestly recommended to your consideration, especially the science of geometry, which is established as the basis of our art." Now, all this can be rather confusing. Is the young Mason to sit down every night and apply himself to some kind of postgraduate course in geometry, to study the relations of magnitudes in space? It would, no doubt, be a very commendable way for a young man to spend his leisure time, but I question whether it would have very much appeal these days. So let us go back to that first charge. Especially, I would exhort you to devote a portion of your leisure hours to the study of such of the liberal arts as may be within the compass of your attainments. What, then, are the liberal arts? The word liberal comes from the Latin liber, meaning free. Among the Romans, only the liberi, or freemen, were permitted to pursue the higher arts. That is how they came to be known as the liberal arts. In the Middle Ages, the liberal arts were the 7 branches of learning: grammar, logic, rhetoric, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. It is, of course, reasonable to assume that Freemasons in earlier days would find much more time for the study of grammar, logic, rhetoric, arithmetic, our old friend geometry, music, and astronomy. But in this atomic age, this hydrogen bomb age, is it really imperative that every Mason should apply himself to a study of nuclear physics and radioactive isotopes? I scarcely think so. After all, that kind of study, while it might provide us with knowledge, is hardly calculated to endow us with much wisdom. As Cooper says, "The heart may give a useful lesson to the head, and learning wiser grows without his books. Knowledge and wisdom, far from being one, have ofttimes no connection. Knowledge is proud that he has learned so much. Wisdom is humble that he knows no more." Or, as the French proverb has it, "A learned fool is a greater fool than an ignorant fool." To what subject, then, should we devote our study? There are, of course, many excellent books on Freemasonry, but if you want to gain advancement in Freemasonry, if you want to go through the chairs, as it has been rather crudely put, you will have to give plenty of study to your little black book, the Ritual. Those mental marvels who can memorize thousands of words of charges and obligations and tracing board explanations, I am sure we all hold in the greatest admiration and respect. But, for those of us who feel that we could never satisfactorily memorize the Ritual, what remains for study? What is the proper study of Masonry? What, we may ask, is the proper study of mankind? Before we answer that, let us consider the great writer Isocrates. As the Reverend Lin Howe reminds us, Isocrates was very sure that he knew what was the proper study of mankind. The The proper study of mankind, he said, is speech. To him, speech and writing were the clear and noble expression of true thoughts. The man who by wise speech influenced the thoughts and actions of his fellow men was a person of genuine power. Since the days when Isocrates won the admiration of Athens, there have been countless men who have known the secrets and the magic of words. So, we can imagine a man impressed by these things, turning his conviction into rhyme and writing. The proper study of mankind is speech. Great secrets only words can teach. But the first Greek philosophers thought that they too knew the proper study of mankind. They would have declared that the proper study of mankind was the physical world. The student of awakened mind, they would have said, looked upon this world with the greatest interest. How much could he learn about the structure of the world? How could he learn the secrets of the world and turn them to his own use? Thales, chief of the 7 wise men, noticed that water could be soft and flowing. Then again, it could be hard as ice. And it could vanish as vapour. In other words, it was a solid, a liquid, and a gas. It was Thales who discovered how to calculate the height of objects and the distance of a ship at sea. We can easily imagine a man, impressed by these things, turning his conviction into rhyme and writing, "The knowledge of the world makes men its kings. The proper study of mankind is things." But it was many years later that Alexander Pope was impressed by the possibilities of man's study of his own life. He came to the realization that man was studying the things about him, but was neglecting the study of himself and his neighbour. And he wrote these lines: "Know then thyself, presume not God to scan. The proper study of mankind is man. Here then may be the answer to the riddle. The proper study of mankind is man." And what a field there is for study here! The study of ourselves, the study of man. The Mason who studies himself and his fellow men will find a rich reward. For the true Masonic student will have a heart that never hardens, a sympathy that never flags, a temper that never tires, and a touch that never hurts. Know then thyself, presume not God to scan. The proper study of mankind is man. For more Masonic podcasts, videos, music, texts, and artwork, visit fromthequarries.com or subscribe to our YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook accounts by searching From the Quarries.